We are the nerds of a nation. We are the nerds of a nation. One Piece, Chapter 20, The Way of the Thief. Welcome, brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, of course, am Jim, here once again to bring you another review of the great and epic tale of One Piece. We are now in Chapter 20, the third chapter in Volume 3. And just to give a quick recap, as I always do on the chapter previous, most of the last chapter took place in fleshed out the characters of Shanks and Buggy and what their relationship was and kind of their backstory and why Buggy hates Shanks so much. So at any rate, there was also some fighting going on between Luffy and Buggy. They've kind of been beating each other up and down the block for the last, pretty much for this whole volume so far. So this was another pretty action-packed chapter, and it starts out with Nami trying to sneak over and steal Buggy's treasure, and Buggy catching her, and then his top half comes flying at her and says, "Oh, no, you don't," and it looks like, it's going to be curtains for her. But then Luffy goes and comes in with the great equalizer. He sees Buggy's bottom half, his legs, and from his stomach down, standing over near him, and he wants to bring his attention back to him. One, to help out Nami, but number two, just because he was like, "Hey, you're fighting me." So he gives him the great equalizer, and he gives him a giant kick in the nuts. And we find out that even when Buggy's body is separated, various parts of his body is separated, he can still obviously feel a kick to the nutsack. So, anyway, so Luffy gives him the great equalizer, and he says, "Oh, damn you," Anyway, there's an exchange between Nami and Buggy. Nami says, "This is my treasure, and I'm going to get it." And he says, "You're not going to get a speck of gold paint. It's not your treasure." He says, "First you got to get away with it. That's the first rule of thievery, And she says, and basically he's trying to say that they're like on the same level as thieves, And she says, "I won't take lessons from you. You're low-life scum, And he certainly isn't too excited about hearing that either. So he, then comes after her again, and pretty much that's what the chapter is. It's kind of a back and forth between him trying to go after her, and then him being stopped or held up. He does this one thing where he separates his body into a bunch of different pieces, 20, 30 pieces, and comes at her and kind of is able to knock her off balance. He's eventually able to get the treasure from her, because she goes to swing the bag of treasure at him to nail him, and he's able to grip it with his floating hands and says, "Thank you, now I got that back." So she's wrestling him for it and everything else. Luffy decides to go and again step in and remind him that he's supposed to be fighting him. So he winds up directing his attention back to him by nailing him yet again. And all in all, like I said, it was pretty cool. It was pretty action-packed, from start to finish. We don't see any other characters at all in this chapter. We just have, like I said, a pretty much one giant action scene, and it's, for the most part between Luffy and Buggy, and then kind of Nami is thrown in there for good measure. So anyway, there winds up being a point where Luffy goes and is able to just kind of rear back and sock him. He nails him with the Gum Bazooka, or Gomu Gomu Bazooka, which is pretty cool. He's able to knock him out there pretty far, and pretty much just there's a building that's destroyed that that from the rubble, from them fighting and everything like that. So all in all, pretty neat. But then ultimately, as they're going to walk away, now Luffy has the bag of treasure has gotten pulled out of Nami's hands and has pretty much exploded everywhere. So there's treasure everywhere on the ground. She's upset because her treasure's everywhere. Luffy is excited because he just knocked Buggy unconscious, or maybe killed him, whatever, and is able to finally get the map of the Grand Line. So he's excited. He jumps up and just screams out, "I finally got the map of the Grand Line. This is great, And Nami's upset, of course, because the treasure is all over the place. As they turn and go to walk away, Buggy goes and gets back up, or at least his head kind of gets back up, his head or upper part of his body, and he says, "Well, wait, not yet," And Luffy turns around and says, "You're still alive, So anyway, he goes and he's trying to pull himself back together and goes chop chop, and he can't finish it because he looks over and well, actually what winds up happening is, it's funny, his hands and his feet pull back onto himself. And I also meant to mention as well, when the whole fight was ensuing and he kept going after Nami, the next thing Luffy wound up doing after he gave him the great equalizer and kicking him in the nuts was he wound up grabbing his feet, because his feet can't fly, and he pulled off one of his shoes and started tickling his toes to distract him, you know, from being able to attack Nami. I apologize, I skipped over that part, but I just thought of it now when I remembered his feet. So at any rate, that happened in that sequence of events as well. But after this happens, and we're getting towards the end of the chapter now, you know, he's been thought to have knocked unconscious. He gets back up. He goes to pull himself back together, and all that pulls into him is, you know, he's got his head and just two little hands, and then his, you know, his feet. And then it goes and it shoots over to the next panel, shows Nami, and she has taken the rest of his body, you know, his torso, his arms, and his legs, and she's tied them together, you know, and wrote them together. So Luffy says, "Oh, that's genius, great," you know, and then ultimately he's able to, you know, to perform a special move and you know and take him out, you know, knock him out of there. So it was all in all, it was a lot of fun. I think it was a pretty cool, exciting chapter. You know, just like I said, just excited to read one and get into the next. You know, and to do these, it's certainly a lot of fun for me. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Of course, comment like you always do. Put a like if you feel like it, and you know, if you do so desire, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. So we'll definitely be looking forward to catching you in the next one, and we'll see you soon, Nation. Thank you, brothers and sisters, as always, for watching my videos, subscribing, liking, commenting. Feel free to take a look at some of the other videos that I have up here, and subscribe if you haven't already. Spread the word and bring others into the Nerd Nation, and we'll catch you in the next one.